Everybody has their story. Everyone, and every story is unique. You don't know where they've come from, and you don't know why they are where they are. So I was a healthcare assistant for 4 years. So I got the job as soon as I was allowed to work. So as soon as I hit 18, I started working. Um, and I was there for 4 years. To be fair, those 4 years were really, really good. I mean, I was making a lot of money at my age. Um, and for me, work was easy. The 12-hour shift was nothing at that time, obviously. Um, and my engagement was getting from bad to worse. Then I had to leave the house we were living at. Going back home was really, really hard. So I left work. I left the hospital without saying anything. I just didn't go back. Um, then I stayed with my friend for a little bit. And again, you're not really thinking about what's the next plan. You're just taking each day as it comes. And I was just going on holidays and not thinking about my life at that time. And I got mixed up with the wrong type of people, and I started traveling and buying and selling stuff. Um, and then that's when my life was put on hold. I got arrested in Germany. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
When I think about it now, I'm like, good. I'm glad it happened. I think if it didn't happen, God knows where I'd be now. It happened at the right time. Um, I was out there long enough to think about my whole life. It's like my whole life was just put on hold. And because I wasn't around anybody and I wasn't getting no visits, all I had time was to think about what I've been through. And once I processed that, the next step was thinking, where am I going to go? Once I knew I was going to leave soon, I was
How long were you there for?
1 year and 6 months. When I went home, I was like, I want to go back to Germany. I wasn't ready for the real world. Things were really awkward between me and my family because my family moved on without me, and I didn't tell them I was coming back. So when I landed back, made my way home, everyone was like so shocked and thinking, oh my gosh, now we've got to like try and put Lylli back into our lives. I think that's how they felt. My brother had already booked, paid, and set a date for his wedding. He didn't even think that let me wait for my sister. So I really felt left out completely. And that's why I felt like I didn't want to be there anymore. But it is what it is. I started my course, which was going well. The course was fine itself, but I wasn't really into it, honestly speaking. I was just doing it for the sake of doing it. Did my first year, going on to my second year, and again I kept falling behind because it was just so much other things happening. So then I left and came to Chelmsford. I needed to get out of London. So when I met somebody, they were living in Chelmsford. For me, I felt like that's a way out. It wasn't that I forced myself out and lived with him. No, he offered and I just took it without even thinking. Started off really good, as it always do, and it started getting really bad. He started becoming emotional abusive towards me. Um, it's, long story short, he didn't like anything that he couldn't control, basically. So then I found myself always walking out. I did have a cousin who stayed in Chelmsford, but she moved out and went back to Sheffield, to her mum's, my auntie's. So I had nowhere to go, literally nowhere. I couldn't go back to my mum, couldn't go back to London. So I found myself sleeping in the car sometimes. His nephew's missus, we were really close, and she was taking me in, but she couldn't take me in because she was living in a temporary accommodation, and she dragged me to Chess, basically, and then that's when I got given a room.
How how were you feeling if you had to go sleep in your car? What were you feeling?
It's hard to explain because you are feeling so much emotions in one go, but you're also numb because you're in a position where you never ever thought in your life you would be. And I knew that I could easily go back to London and go to my mum's, but it wasn't going to be a better situation. I might as well just go back to my boyfriend's house. It was no difference. But from having everything and then losing it all bit by bit, first starting off with your mental health and then your freedom, and then when you are free, you're still kind of losing your freedom because you can't do what you want to do when you want to do it. And at the same time, you're kind of losing your pride, which was the worst part, I think, for me. All of the whole process of becoming homeless, being homeless, is was a life lesson, and I would never change it. If someone asked me, "Would you go back and change?" I wouldn't. I would still go through it. It definitely has made me 100% more grateful about what I have right now. Homeless or not, you don't judge a book by its cover. I mean, it's the same as seeing rich people. You don't want to judge them because you don't know how hard some of those people have worked to get to where they are. Some people have been homeless to become rich. So I think it all comes down to just everybody has their story, whether they're an addict or become an addict or an alcoholic or whatever. It's everyone has their story.